Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's story is about one of the biggest AI upgrades of the year, and it's coming from OpenAI. ChatGPT just got a major update, and it's not just smarter, it's more human, more personal, and honestly, more fun to talk to. This is GPT 5.1, the next evolution of the GPT-5 series. It's rolling out right now, starting with paid users, and it completely redefines how ChatGPT understands you, talks to you, and even adapts to your personality. OpenAI says GPT 5.1 is built to be not only more capable, but also more conversational, a step toward an AI that actually gets your vibe. And with it, ChatGPT is turning into something that feels less like a chatbot and more like a real collaborator. So, what's new? GPT 5.1 comes in two main versions, GPT 5.1 Instant and GPT 5.1 Thinking, both designed for different kinds of interactions. Let's start with Instant, because that's the one most people will use day to day. It's ChatGPT's fastest and most used model, but now it's warmer, more conversational, and noticeably more playful, in a good way. OpenAI says early testers were surprised by how naturally it jokes, empathizes, and keeps the conversation flowing, all while staying clear and accurate. But it's not just tone that's changed. GPT 5.1 Instant has been rebuilt with adaptive reasoning, meaning it can decide when to pause and think before answering tough questions. That balance lets it stay fast on simple stuff but take its time when the question's complex, something no earlier GPT could do this smoothly. OpenAI reports that this new reasoning system shows major jumps in accuracy on benchmarks like AIME 2025 for math and Codeforces for coding challenges. Basically, Instant now reasons like a mini version of the advanced model, but still replies quickly enough for real-time chat. Then there's GPT 5.1 Thinking, the upgraded heavy-duty model for users who want deep reasoning. It's designed to tackle the kind of multi-step, complex tasks that earlier versions struggled to explain clearly. Now, instead of treating every question the same way, GPT 5.1 Thinking dynamically adjusts how much thinking time it uses, spending extra cycles on detailed analysis, but responding faster when things are simple. The result: you get thoughtful, well-reasoned answers when it matters, without the lag on everyday questions. And OpenAI's also cleaned up how this model communicates. It's less technical, uses fewer undefined terms, and feels clearer, especially for professional or technical topics. Math, code, complex business logic, all explained in straightforward language. The new tone is warmer too, still professional, but more natural and empathetic. This makes GPT 5.1 Thinking more approachable for everything from coding to strategy sessions. Now here's where the update starts to feel personal. GPT 5.1 introduces customizable tones and personalities, and this part really changes the experience. OpenAI says one thing they've heard repeatedly from users is that great AI isn't just about being smart, it's about being enjoyable to talk to. So, they've added a set of preset conversation styles that you can switch between instantly. The classic default mode is still there, balanced and neutral, but now you can choose from 7 other personalities: professional, friendly, efficient, candid, quirky, nerdy, and cynical. These presets replace and expand earlier tone settings like listener or robot, refining them to reflect how people naturally interact with ChatGPT. But it doesn't stop there. You can now fine-tune traits like warmth, conciseness, or emoji usage directly from personalization settings. If you prefer long, thoughtful answers with a bit of humor, you can make that your baseline. If you want crisp, executive-style summaries, you can have that instead. And here's the clever part. ChatGPT can even suggest tone adjustments mid-conversation. If it notices you asking for a shorter or friendlier response, it'll offer to update its tone automatically. This turns the model into something you can truly shape around your preferences. For power users and developers, the rollout timeline matters. Both GPT 5.1 Instant and Thinking are live now for Pro, Plus, Go, and business users. Enterprise and education customers get an early access toggle for 7 days before GPT 5.1 becomes the default. Free and logged-out users will see the update gradually over the next few days, as OpenAI rolls it out to balance performance. And if you're a fan of comparing models, don't worry. GPT-5 Instant and Thinking will remain available for 3 months under a legacy drop-down. That way, users have time to compare how responses differ and adjust their workflows. Meanwhile, GPT-5 Pro will be updated to GPT 5.1 Pro, and both new models are coming to the API later this week. The Instant version will appear as GPT 5.1 Chat Latest, while the Thinking model will simply be GPT 5.1, both equipped with adaptive reasoning. Under the hood, GPT 5.1 isn't a brand new generation, it's an upgrade within the GPT-5 line, but the changes are substantial enough to earn a full version bump. OpenAI says they named it 5.1 to mark meaningful improvements without jumping to a new generation number prematurely. Future updates will follow the same pattern, incremental upgrades that focus on quality of life improvements and capability boosts while keeping the ecosystem stable. And if you're an admin or enterprise user, yes, all of this still respects existing data controls. Nothing changes about how conversations are stored or privacy handled. But the most noticeable difference you'll feel? It's the way GPT 5.1 communicates. OpenAI has put serious work into the model's social intelligence, how it reads your tone, understands your phrasing, and replies with empathy. GPT 5.1 doesn't just process your words, it listens for your intent. If you're being serious, it mirrors that tone. If you're being playful, it matches that too. In other words, ChatGPT can now vibe with you. This applies across both Instant and Thinking models, and it's already being called the most natural version of ChatGPT yet. There's also a big focus on efficiency and clarity. GPT 5.1 Thinking now uses fewer tokens when handling simple tasks, meaning faster responses and lower API costs for developers, but allocates more depth to complex reasoning problems. And the company says the model's language generation has been refined to cut unnecessary fluff. It avoids jargon, uses consistent phrasing, and explains technical concepts in plain terms. The goal was to make GPT 5.1 smarter under the hood, but also easier to follow for real-world work. That might sound like a small detail, but for people using ChatGPT in coding, education, or business settings, this difference is huge. No more verbose walls of text or unclear explanations, just clean, purposeful communication. Now let's talk about rollout strategy. OpenAI says the release will happen gradually over several days to keep servers stable. So, if you log into ChatGPT and don't see GPT 5.1 yet, it's coming soon. Enterprise and education accounts get priority rollout and early testing windows, while free users will see it later in the cycle. So, how does this feel in practice? OpenAI says conversations in GPT 5.1 are noticeably more fluid. You'll find it easier to have back-and-forth discussions without repeating yourself. The model now keeps track of your phrasing better, so it's less likely to misinterpret your intent. It's also better at following instructions, something users have been asking for since the very first GPT. Whether you're prompting it to write code in a specific format or summarize text in your tone of voice, GPT 5.1 follows through more consistently. And thanks to adaptive reasoning, it knows when to stop overthinking simple tasks, a small but powerful improvement that makes everything from Q&A to brainstorming smoother. OpenAI has also updated its safety system card for GPT 5.1, which includes new guidelines on model oversight and reasoning transparency. Nothing flashy there, but it's a reminder that these upgrades are still being rolled out under careful monitoring. At the end of the day, GPT 5.1 isn't about raw intelligence leaps. It's about making ChatGPT feel like it truly belongs to you. It's smarter, yes, but also more conversational, more personalized, and more emotionally aware. Whether you're using it for work, creative projects, or casual conversation, this update is all about balance, the right mix of precision and personality. So that's GPT 5.1, a more human version of ChatGPT, built for how people actually talk, think, and collaborate. It's rolling out now across paid tiers, with free users joining soon. Expect smarter math, cleaner code, faster reasoning, and a ChatGPT that finally sounds a little more like you. Thanks for watching, and if you found this breakdown useful, drop a like, subscribe for more deep dives into the latest in AI. This is AI Tides, and I'll see you in the next one.